People don't get this. It is like it's such a big part of my business. Like men and women don't speak the same way and don't listen the same way.
Can you give us some tips on how to speak Menglish?
Men and women have what I call completely different. I call it self-doubt.
Okay.
We, at a core of us, we operate with a question mark on our hearts. Women are highly sensitive to criticism because criticism will change you. If I tell my wife, that dinner, I don't know what happened there, but not your best work, she'll never do that dish ever again. So if you're going to be your own protector as a little girl, and all the way into adulthood, guess what happens? You continue because it's a mechanism and it doesn't stop, right? For boys, it's the other way around.
Pretty much almost every single argument I've gotten into with my husband is because he said something and I made an assumption.
If you're not sure what's happening, you're going to make up the worst story. When I teach men the language for women, right, you have to fill in the blanks for her, because if you don't, she will, and it's always going to be terrible. It's always going to be the worst. You're always going to be the cheater.
Hey there, it's Sandee Sgarlata. Get ready to dive deep into incredible stories of people who've taken life's challenges and turned them into a roadmap to happiness. On this show, we're not just talking about overcoming obstacles. We're uncovering the real, gritty secrets to living a life filled with peace, joy, and genuine happiness. This is Happiness Solved. So let's get started, because happiness is a choice, and the choice is yours. Andre Paradis. I said it right. Woohoo! So excited to have you on. We just had such a great conversation, and I was trying to put the brakes on it because I was like, we got to save this golden nuggets for when we're recording. So for everybody who have not heard of the amazing Andre Paradis, he is a inspirational relationship coach. And I'm going to have him talk about his background, because I saw in your profile that you're a professional dancer, but I didn't know you were a ballroom, because I've got a gold medal in ice dancing. So that is like, I want to ballroom dance so bad. Like I have visions of being the first podcaster on Dancing with the Stars, right? And I've interviewed two people. I interviewed J.R. Martinez, who won Dancing with the Stars, and I've interviewed Brooke Burke, who won and hosted it. So I'm like, okay, like there's a sign from the universe there. Like somebody wants, anyway. Andre, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got to being, from a professional dancer to a relationship coach.
So my title officially is I'm a relationship coach. I do NLP coaching for the energy trauma release that is necessary to get people in healthy relationships. I can't get anybody in a healthy relationship till we clean up your baggage. So NLP is a beautiful, fantastic, quick, efficient way to do this.
Love NLP.
Essential. I'm an educator of effective communication strategies. This is the work that I do with the clients. Communication with all relationships, personal, family, business, is primary. And we hear this all the time. Communication is the thing. Communication is simple, but people truly don't. People think communication is the words that you use. For me, it's the results that you get. And when you think of communicating, especially in the realm of men and women, people don't get this. It is like, it's such a big part of my business. Like men and women don't speak the same way and don't listen the same way. And it's like, what do you mean? I look at you, we speak English, you understand the words that come out of my mouth. No. And it sounds ridiculous, but we don't understand how we literally don't speak in the same way. So communication strategies is, again, in relationships, love relationships are the most calibrated. Do you know what I mean? We take things more personally. It's so obvious what should have been said, what should have been done, that you don't say this, you don't do that, right? So, but again, communication, the art of communication, if you can master it in your love dynamic, you're a master everywhere, because again, this is the most highly calibrated. So that's part of my work, so strategies of, I teach the ladies Menglish.
Oh, okay.
Menglish. Right? There's a paradigm with men of respect, and that all comes down to the language that you use. But we don't know this, right? So women find men resisting, right? Pulling back, becoming cold and distant. I'm going to tell you this, what happens there, because men are responding to women like you could not believe. right? And so I would always say there's a dynamic. It's not all women's fault, obviously, because I also teach the men what the women need to hear, what the women need to connect, to feel safe, right? So there's two worlds here. However, like not understanding men for women is probably the biggest pain point. How come he doesn't talk to me? And I get the one word answer. And, and then the conclusion, because you jump to a conclusion that he obviously doesn't respect me or care for me or wants to be part of his life, and it hurts your feelings. And then you pull out or pull back, and the thing kind of gets frazzled. And so we don't understand these things. So that's a huge part of my work is the communication part that is literally not in the realm of what I'm talking about, men, women, a blind spot for most people. And we get in trouble, we don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about my marriage.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I, in 2 days, we have our 12-year anniversary of being together and 9 years of marriage, because he wanted to get married on the same date that we met. So he didn't have to remember 2 days. It was a Monday. We got married on a Monday because of that, right?
Sure.
But like, that is the one thing.
That's pretty clever. That's pretty clever.
Hey, we got it cheap. We didn't have to pay for the ballroom space.
I get it. I get it.
They're usually closed on Mondays. But he was married for 20 years. I was married for 21. And early on in our relationship, we talked about it because we both knew that part of the breakdown of that was the lack of communication. So we've worked very, very hard on it. And it's a challenge because we're totally different species. It's not even like a different chromosome in the DNA. We are completely different species.
Thank you.
And so I love this. I love this conversation.
Right.
Let's step back. I want to know more about Menglish. Can you, for all the women listeners out there, can you give us some tips on how to speak Menglish?
Well, it's a big conversation. So if I would cheat you, if I gave you some details here, because it'll go over your head. But if I could wrap it up so you understand the paradigm, is men and women have what I call completely different. I call it self-doubt.
Okay.
We, at a core of us, we operate with a question mark on our hearts. And for women, is am I lovable? Am I truly lovable? Can you love me in this body with all my flaws that we're not aware of, but you are, right? Ask a woman what's wrong with her. She'll avalanche of, stuff. And we're like, well, I just think you're beautiful. Like, we don't see details. Our brains are different. You said it, right? Like Mars and Venus is much bigger than that. We're completely different, which is also part of the problem in my world because there's such a pace with equality out there right now. And people have taken that into we're equal beings. Men should be more feminine. Women should be more masculine. Hell, it's not at all. So we have to stay in our lanes for things to work. And it's very traditional. Anyway, so now I could go off doing all of that. But Menglish is the respectful language of men that men need to show up for you. And if you don't know how to speak Menglish, you will find yourself leaning on men, mothering men, and that makes him step right back. So every woman in the world says, I can't talk to him, he's cold his distance, you don't know how to speak Menglish. Now, why you should know it is, again, your approach to language, communication, and asking is completely blind. It's a blind spot that men don't respond to. So if you don't know how to invite him to adjust, to pivot, to give you more, bring you more, right? Like whatever the need that you have, because women need connection for safety, and that's how you get to relax and be in your bodies and feminine where we like it the most, right? Then you need to understand how to get us to you that way. So it's with two different machines. So Menglish is really a language of respect to have men see you as an invitation for his support, for his help, for his opinion, for his adjusting his behavior for your pleasure and comfort. Because in the end, instinctively, we just want you to be happy. But if you mother me, you're not getting anything. If you demand that I change, that I spend more time with you, right? Get this. If you ask, even asking for more, different, better, anything, you will get less.
Really?
Period. Try it. Just lean on your man and say, we need to spend more time together. Watch what happens. You'll get less time together. Not because it's a jerk, because there's a command in that. And men do not respond to command, especially from their wives and mothers. They don't.
Okay.
Men do not respond. We spend a lifetime getting away from our mothers who push us around and bully us, and sometimes, but literally just
I only have one
I.
child and he's a boy. So like, and
Yes, if
he's
it's
23 and like, please don't tell me that.
but it's not your fault. Like in the name of raising us, you will correct us, you will guide us, you will punish us, will right? And really, in the end, by the time I get to be grown up, I'm not. Nobody gets to do that to me ever again, men or women. But we're much more sensitive to it coming from the women. To be mothered is the most disrespectful thing in the world. So if you ask for more time, more energy, more, dates, more sex, you get less. Not because we're jerks, because the instinct is you don't get to demand anything from me. The key here, which is in English, is an invitation. And pull has
Okay.
instinct to provide, protect, give, cherish, support. Like it's something that we don't understand because you, again, in the name of equality, you spend your time at work going, I need this done, I need this done, I need like this, I need like that, right? This needs to be done. It's all efficient, right? That's masculine. That's beautiful. It works for work. Try this with you, man. It won't work, and you'll think he's a jerk.
So instead of saying, honey, we need to spend more time together, instead, honey, I made plans for us to go to dinner. Or honey, would you like to go to have a cup of coffee with me and go to a coffee shop? Or so is that what you're referring to?
No, no, what you just did is
Okay.
still masculine.
Okay.
I made
So
plan for us. Why are you making plan for us? Unless you put that on your to-do list. What I'm saying is, men will take charge, men will lead. We pride ourselves in that. We pride ourselves in that. Unless you do it for me, and then I'll say, "Oh, I guess she wants to do it," and let you do it. And this is how women often get stuck in. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't provide anything. He doesn't. He lets me do all the stuff. I go because if you do it for me, I'm going to assume that you like doing it, and or that like you'll handle it before I even, if instead of asking me, and it's not asking, inviting me to, if you do it up front, you make the plans, and no, you put me in the feminine if you make the plan. And again, for most men,
okay.
they won't respond. They won't respond to that.
Okay.
Period.
So how would you approach
An,
that one scenario?
an
We need to spend more
invitation, an invitation, right? This an invitation. Like I know you're working really hard, and thank you for everything you're doing. But maybe you could put on your radar save a little space for us. I'm feeling disconnected, and I'd love for us to spend more time together. That's an
got it.
invitation.
So that's simple.
So simple, but that's typically not what you do. You wait till you're frustrated. You wait till you're disconnected. You wait till you feel distant. You wait till, and you get frustrated, and you go, you know what? You know what? Like we need to spend time together. And he's like, oh, okay, thanks, mom. No. And again, he won't. And again, it's just literally. It's not because we're jerks. It's really the ultimate masculine. Masculinity is to be autonomous and to make your choices. And when you take my choice away, you get resistance, and you think he's a jerk. That's not it. You don't understand the way
I'm
his brain is wired. Yeah, you're smiling because you're putting it
I'm
together, aren't you?
smiling because I think he's a jerk. I just call mine an asshole. I'm like, no, I'm
Same
like, you're
thing.
such an asshole. I'm like, no,
But
what are you doing? Right?
so and guess what happened there? That
Yeah.
disrespect, even calling him
Right.
names, or if you're assuming he's a jerk, an
Right.
asshole, right? This is exactly what's going to poof more distance.
Right.
And then you
Yeah.
think, okay, get this, because what's happening to you, ladies? God, there's so many layers here. Like it was just in when okay, women are highly sensitive to criticism,
Yes.
right? Because criticism will change you. If I tell my wife, that dinner, I don't know what happened there, but not your best work. She'll never do that dish ever again. If I tell her the shirt you're wearing, that color on you, it's a little, yeah, that's not right. Like not, I'm just saying, right? Like this, I don't like that color on you. It doesn't really work. Or like I'm lovingly telling you what's not working, and you should know this. So for us, like telling you things that don't work for us, to us, we think we're being helpful and loving. To you, it's criticism. If I tell my
Right.
wife that color shirt doesn't work on you, she will never wear that color in front of me ever again.
She'll burn it.
She'll burn it, right? So women are highly, highly sensitive to criticism. We don't know this because for us, criticism is an act of love. If I tell my buddy to get his shit together because he's screwing up and I'm going to put my foot in his ass, wake the hell up because he's ruining your marriage. I could yell at him. I could be harsh. And actually, I need to be because I'm so frustrated with him. But man on man is an act of love. If I
Right.
didn't care for him, I wouldn't say anything because I don't care. Right. But if
Is it is it because men are just trying to fix stuff?
that's our paradigm. That's our go-to. That's our
Yeah.
instinct. That's the first thing we do. We're neurotic fixers. But to watch my buddy screw up his marriage because he's
Right.
being stupid, I'm going to yell at him. But that's an act of love because he
And
knows that,
guys are okay with that. But if a
well,
woman
yeah.
started doing that to another woman, oh, there'd be a huge cat fight.
So, and what I'm saying, yeah. So criticism on men is love. And we think we love you when we say, babe, that doesn't work. Why do you do this? It's kind of weird for me and I don't like it. A criticism to a woman changes you forever. It kind of breaks you from the inside. Again, you'll never wear that color again. You'll never make that dish again. So what happens is so powerful on you ladies, and it's like you have to be just a tone will sound as a criticism will change you. It's crazy delicate. We don't know this. Again, for us, it's like, and then we end up saying stuff like, I can't tell you anything. You're too sensitive. I'm trying to help. And then we stop talking because you're crying. My point is, on the reverse, you ladies will criticize us thinking it's going to change us like it changes you, but it doesn't. We look at you like, what the hell? Right? Disrespectful, more so is what we get, right? And so we step back. We literally go like this, and then you lose us. So you're amazed that we don't change when you just like when you criticize us because it's so powerful on you. Mars and Venus, there it is again. We don't function the same. And if you do to us things that work on you, you'll find yourself standing there alone, wondering what happened.
Yeah.
Because I left now, because I won't take that. I can't deal with that. I'm not okay with this. Again, you can't lean on me. You can't mother me. It's disrespectful. But to you, it's not disrespectful. I'm just trying to, yeah, again, not knowing how to do it. It's so delicate.
It
My favorite thing
is.
to do is teach couples this. Do you know what I mean? Because they come to me because they're in trouble because she's not, I can't tell her anything, and he's such a cold. Yeah, you guys have done the whole standard man woman thing that sort of we assume the other one should respond, act, speak a certain way, and if they don't, they're misbehaving. That's not it. We're different completely, like you said. We're complementary. You have to understand how it works instinctively for the other. It's not that hard, but
Oh,
nobody's teaching that. That's my work.
love it. Love it. Just real quickly, I just want to
Yeah.
share the story with my husband and I.
Mm.
He's so amazing. Truly, like I hit the jackpot when I met my husband. And here's the main reason why. Like he's handsome, he's successful, all of those things aside don't even matter.
Mm.
What really changed it for me is the first year and a half of our relationship. I didn't know how broken I was from the 21-year marriage that I had.
Right. Right.
And one day, so like situation would happen, and I would automatically assume that he was going to react with the way my ex-husband would react. Right.
Right. Right. Right. Right.
And I'm surprised he didn't dump me because of it. Right. Because I
Sure.
was like being really hard on him. And one day he finally figured it out. I don't know if he talked to somebody that helped him with this awakening. He held both of my hands and he goes, Sandee, you're having a Markism. Mark is
Projecting,
my
yeah, you're
ex-husband's name.
projecting on me the story of the
Right.
21 years of marriage.
That's
You're
right.
projecting on me his crap.
That's
That's not
right. And
fair.
he
That is not
goes,
fair.
right. And I can say this on my show. I have a very good relationship with my ex-husband. And I actually shared this story with him. And
Yeah.
because he was having an issue with, somebody they dated, he doesn't date her anymore. And it wasn't like an issue. And I said, and I shared this story and I said,
Mm.
that's what's happening. I said, it sounds like she's doing that too, right? With you.
Yeah.
And it was just so brilliant. And it changed everything. He healed my heart.
Yep.
He helped me to heal my heart, right? By
Yep.
doing that,
Yep. Yep.
because what it enabled me to do was when he would behave in a certain way, it triggered something in me, right? The past trauma, right?
Yep.
It just was a trigger. And
Yep.
I was able to stop and be like, you're having a Markism.
Yeah.
He's not going to respond the same way. And it was just life-changing. Not to say
Yeah.
that we, obviously I'm a man, he's a woman, we're going to have our conflicts.
It's a continuing journey, but to
Yeah.
take responsibility from your side of it, as opposed to projecting, right? That we
Yeah.
all do this, by the way, we all do this. And
Yeah.
most of us, can't get in healthy relationship in the first place because we're projecting our parents, our fathers, our mothers, the way that the things that we concluded that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy. And so we project, literally, get this, a man's first love affair is his mother. A woman's first love affair is her father. So if father was absent or no good or drunk, like, women have to basically man up and protect themselves because they don't feel safe in the world as a 5-year-old. And this is the beginning of the disconnect to their own femininity, which carries through life, right? So if you're going to be your own protector as a little girl and all the way into the adulthood, guess what happens? You continue because it's a mechanism and it doesn't stop, right? For boys, it's the other way around. A boy, if a mother is disrespectful to her son, she literally castrates him into staying in his feminine. He cannot develop his manhood, especially if there's no father, right? There's no father role model. So single motherhood for boys is really, really terrible because you raise a boy to be sweet, sensitive, kind, talkative, vulnerable. It doesn't make for a man that's powerful, that women appreciate, that women can trust and feel safe with because he's too soft, right? So these are all connected to childhood. So it's not
Yeah.
even, you know, so that trauma of for mom and dad, whichever way, even with modeling, role modeling, and sometimes mom is more masculine and dad's feminine, and the boy would actually, you know, role model after him, which keeps him in a terrible state of not being able to conquer, to like build himself up. He's too soft, and these are the guys that get put in the friend zone. And so, but that's sort of my point is it all stems in the decisions, the training, and the role modeling that was around us when we were little. And it's like it's not 11 years old, it's 5 and 6 when we make decisions about the world, ourselves, life, and people.
Yep.
So if you carry around this thing as a woman that you're not lovable because this circumstance of your life, you're going to end up picking men in the world that are not available, and you're going to try to fix them into the daddy you should have had, and it never works. It's a disaster. So that's part of the NLP and trauma release, because like you just figured out, right, when you can actually catch yourself in the it's a reflex right now. It's a trigger, right? And then go, so if you could catch it and go, wait, is this true? Is that what he's doing? Is that what she's doing? Is it really like, is he showing me that I'm not lovable? No, hold on. Let me say, okay, breathe, hold on. That's a go-to. Is it the truth? And then again, if you have a conversation, babe, when you did this, it made me feel like this. Is that what you meant? That's the communication stuff I'm talking about. Like, how do you approach and communicate so you don't trigger a fight, you don't approach sideways, you don't mother or accuse in a tone in a conversation because you're hurt, right? How do you actually show up neutral? And then use the words that actually make them understand and not push back, right? They don't feel attacked. And then as a hero, especially with men, we want to be heroes. We want to fix things neurotically. So if you approach me with, when you said that, it made me feel like this, and I didn't like it. And is that what you meant to do? What? That's not what I like. Because often, again, the trigger is a knee-jerk reaction. It could be from the past and or a misunderstanding, right? Because sometimes we could be aloof and forget stuff. So when you approach him respectfully, you will get either an explanation because you had it wrong completely because you assumed, just like you did with your ex, right? But if you approach him respectfully, you'll get an explanation. That's not what I meant. This isn't what I do. This isn't who I am. And or you get an apology because you're right. I completely forgot. It makes you feel unworthy, like not lovable. And so you're triggered, the little girl in you, but yes, I'm so sorry. You're right. I completely forgot. It's my bad. I'm sorry. Okay, now we're fixed. He's not a jerk, right? And the trigger kind of gets released. And so those are delicate moments, but it's the small moments, and I say this all the time. It's the small moments that accumulate, the small disconnect, the small hurt, the stuff that you don't know how to bring forth because you don't have a fight, right? Because every time you bring it up, he resists, pushes back, and now it's even worse. So you don't bring it up because it's no big deal, right? And you kind of let it slide, and 2 days later you forgot about it. Everything's good. It's not good. It stacks up. It stacks up. So it's all the small injuries that actually destroys people and it makes them come undone. It's not the big stuff. It's not the affairs. By the time this big stuff happens, there's been an avalanche of little disconnects. So that's what I say. Like, I call it, you have to clean the pancake plate. because every injury, if you let it pile up at the pancake plate, pancake, right? The little injuries that he knows nothing about because you don't know how to bring it up. And the next day you feel better, so you just go, it's no big deal, because if you bring it up again, it may start a fight, another disconnect, so you don't do it. But you let the pancake plate stacks up, and one morning, it's happened to me. She spends 2 hours cleaning the kitchen. I come in, my cup of coffee, put it on the counter, and all of a sudden I get the whole plate thrown on my head because I'm a jerk. I don't care. I'm insensitive. It's all about me. I don't understand and appreciate all that she does. I'm like, wait, uh, wait, because I put this on the counter. I put this. This is the. This is what I. This is the injury. I'm a jerk. I don't care. I don't love her. I don't appreciate her. I take her. What? But again, it's not the cup, it's the pancake on top. So I get the whole plate thrown at me for. So ladies, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, back to Manglish, back to respectful language, back to clean up the plate. You don't let the pancake plate stack up, because
Right.
you're going to lose it at one point because you can't take it any longer. And you're going to attack him and throw the plate at his head. And you have to understand, when you deal with men, you deal with warriors. Attack a warrior,
Right.
doesn't matter who's attacking, you're getting pushed back. And it's worse. That's what we tend to do without knowing. Anyway, so I could ramble on all day, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
It's
for
knowing how to
sure.
do that. It's knowing how to do that. It's conflict resolution skills that can people come closer together when you could manage things, you could negotiate things, you could fight fairly as opposed to not.
Well, you unpacked a whole bunch right there.
I'm
And
so
when you were
sorry.
talking about it, I'm like, no, it's perfect. It's awesome. And I, I was thinking pretty much almost every single argument I've gotten into with my husband is because he said something and I made an assumption, right? I made
Yep.
up a
Here we go.
story.
Yep.
Aw, I
I
love
know
your
this.
dog.
That's Louis. Louis the
Huh?
rescue.
Oh, I love Louis.
Somebody abandoned him on the balcony in Los Angeles. If you can believe it.
Aw, what kind
This
of dog
little,
is he?
he's a little Yorkie.
I have a Yorkie poo.
Yeah, I'm a big dog person, so I
Yeah.
like was not comfortable with it. A little foo-foo dog, but
Oh,
it looks you right
you
in
know
the
what?
eyes, and it got me by the soul the moment I met
Tell
him.
me about
So
it. They're like, they have such big hearts, and they think they're, most of them think that they're like 85-pound Rottweiler, right? Like they're just like, Arr.
he's
Anyway,
hysterical.
back to what
Anyway,
we were saying.
yes,
Um, the thing is you said to ask yourself, is this true? And
yep,
just to add on to that, in communicate, just in every day of our life, we make up stories about what we're perceiving is happening. And
yep.
99.9% of the time, we're wrong because
Straight up,
we're making
yeah.
stuff up.
Now
We're
I'm going to
just
say
making
that,
it up.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. It's going to sound sexist. It's just not. It's this. This is more of a woman's, like go to.
Yes.
If you're not sure what's happening, you're going to make up the worst story. You're going to fill
Mhm.
it. You're going to fill up the blanks with, oh well, obviously, like I can tell you stories about this that are hysterical, where a guy is saying to his girlfriend in front of me, it was hysterical. A couple of friends of ours in front of me, he said he changed the plan. He didn't want to come over on Friday night. Takes 45 minutes to get to his house, and he was working a long week and he had to get up early. So he says, I know we have plans to meet on Friday, but I want to cancel it. I want you to travel to my house, and I want to go to bed early, and I'll be no good company. And that's just, well, just let's just like push it back. And she's like, "What do you mean by that?" He goes, "Well, I just said it." She's like, "Are you mad at me?" He's like, "What the hell?" Right? Because for her, him changing his plan was unusual, and she thought there was something else going on. But he's saying exactly what he's saying. This is again,
He's
this is what
like,
I'm talking about. Like what we
yeah,
say, you don't hear, and what you say, we don't hear. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't even tell you. I can tell you stories to make your head curl his mind. Like it's crazy. But like there is in front of me, and so she's getting her feelings hurt because he's trying to change the plan, and she's convinced there's something else going on
right.
because he's never done that before.
She already has him in an affair, and
Oh, straight up. So
yeah,
by the time she kept saying like, "Are you mad at me?" and it's like, you don't want me to come over. He's like the first time he said it, he was just like, "Look, I'm tired. I need to go to bed early. I don't want you to come over 45 minutes on the road to get to me when I'm half asleep, and I need to get up early. And I'm not gonna be good company. I don't want you to come over. I'm not gonna be good company, and I want to go to bed early." That's very clear. He's taking care of himself. He knows what kind of day he's having
yeah.
tomorrow, and he's had a long week. He just said all that. And
Right,
she's like,
right.
something's wrong. So when she says, "Are you mad at me?" He's like, "What?" So he got a little irritated because I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart, ladies. When you start questioning us on stuff that is so not anything that's what I'm saying and the truth and what I'm communicating, it looks to us like he's trying to start some shit.
Right.
What do you like? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not mad at you, right? But now I have an attitude a little bit because like you started some shit. I'm trying to tell you something, and now you're trying to turn it into something else, right? This is how we get pissed because it happens all the time because you don't listen to what we're saying because again, you're not wired to listen to the way
And
we.
we create drama where there is none.
I'm
Let's
just
just
saying.
face
So
it,
I get,
ladies. We all
but
do it.
it's part of like that self-doubt that you think that there's always something else going on because blah 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 blah, right? Again, history, trauma, being lied to, cheated on, all that stuff. Then all your girlfriend stories about how men are. Anyway, so like so he gets to tell the same thing. I'm not mad at you. I'm just telling you that, right? He tells it again, and on the face is still like sunk. And she's like, is that because I was mean on Thursday? And he's like, oh my God. Like now he's like, the fuck, right? Excuse my French, but like he's like, are you what is like he wants to say, what is wrong with you? Like I just said it 3 times. Now he's got attitude. He goes, "No, you know what? I whatever, I'll see you later." Mwah, gets out. Right? I saw her like and she literally collapsed to the floor crying. And she's
Oh,
convinced he's having an affair, that he's breaking up with her, he doesn't like her anymore. There's some other chick coming over Friday night, all that stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, you
yeah,
see how he's mad at me. I know there's something going on. I'm like, no, he's mad at you because you look like you're trying to you're not listening to him. Anyway, so we do this all the time, all the time, all
yeah.
the time, all the time. But the ladies tend to, and I teach men this when I teach men the language for women, right? You have to fill in the blanks for her because if you don't, she will, and it's always going to be terrible. It's always going to be the worst. You're always going to be the cheater. You always got some game going on. There's something behind it, suspicious and which takes everything lovely as a woman out of you. When you're worried, you're anxious, you're frustrated, you're confused, like everything lovely about you disappears. And we're like, okay, what happened to my girl? Like, what's going on? Nothing. Here we go again. You okay? I'm fine. But again, because your brain will before I got married, I had a girlfriend. I was dancing at the time, and I was dancing in Los Angeles. I was teaching. I had my own classes plus performing, so I'm surrounded by 45 beautiful young girls all day long, right? That was my life. She's an
Sucks
executive,
for
she's working.
you. That
Was
really
oh that was
sucks for
oh
you.
yeah, that was terrible. But she's a woman who works a regular job, and she had been cheated on by her ex-husband. So the things that went on in her head during the day, throughout the day, you know, knowing that I'm out there with a bunch of girls and I work like 2 hours, twice a day. So I have all this time in between. I mean, how many times has it happened? I leave the house in the morning. Have a good day. I'll see you later. Call me later. And I get home at the end of the day and she's not talking to me. This happened like almost every day. And this is why we didn't make it because her head and her paranoia and her trauma would create all kinds of stories of when she could get a hold of me. These girls all around me. Her ex who said, "You're crazy. I'm not cheating." And he was cheating the whole time, right? So she never actually met me. She was completely in reaction of, her stories, and she couldn't get out of her stories. And I was not that guy in any way. But again, there's a feminine paradigm of filling in the blanks. I teach men, give her all the details so she understands A, B, C, D, E. But we don't necessarily, as men, we don't speak that way. So there's another mechanism that's kind of in place that is dooming a lot of dynamics because like men don't explain themselves. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I said. That's not what I meant. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so you're crazy again. I'm just gonna go. Ouch.
Yeah.
But so I teach men how to not do that, right? But then also teach women now to not trigger the disrespect that creates that. So there's a
Interesting.
both. And what's interesting, the best part about it is this is really fun, is that if I teach men how to how to communicate, how to make a woman feel connected, right? Because you need to be connected to feel safe and feel that he's got you and all the goodies that comes with that, right? When he understands how to do your using your instinct for this to happen, right? So a woman needs to feel connected. Men don't know this. Women need to talk because that's how you connect. We don't do that. So we give you one word answers. So you take, right? Women will take care of all the small details that we assume you should take care of the details. I'm out there 12-hour days killing myself. So yeah, of course you take care of the small stuff in the house, right? But then you feel taken for granted because he's not even thanking you for it. And that, right, men's sort of like ability to see details or even say something to say is appreciated, right? This is action typically that he's attached to, but his words anyway. So a woman needs the affirmation, a woman needs the appreciation, a woman needs to be communicated to, a woman needs to know what's happening throughout your day, even though you don't talk about it because you want to leave it behind. You have to do some of that in order for her to feel that you actually like her, want to share your life with her, and your conversation makes her feel connected, blah, 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 right? And then really just put the effort in making her feel safe. And men don't understand that because when men say, this is my wife, this is my girlfriend, we tend to put our hats like, well, I married her. What else do you want?
Right.
But women need daily affirmation, right? To feel safe, to stay safe. We don't understand that. We're like, I married her. I come home every night. What's the problem? Oh my God, right? So again, it's not no. So when I teach men, when a woman needs to feel safe, connected, and stays happy, and just like stays in a loving energy because she gets everything she wants, like she instantly will respect him. So by knowing how to do this, he gets everything back at him. And same with ladies. If you understand the man's instinct and the hero in us and respect paradigm that you don't comprehend because the stuff that disrespects us does not disrespect you. The same way there's the stuff that hurt your feelings does not hurt our feelings. We don't understand why you get your feelings hurt. You don't understand that you're disrespecting us all the time. All the time. So when you understand that paradigm and how to communicate, how to pull him in, not to mother him, how to pull the hero out of him instinctively, because we're all heroes at heart. We're born with that, right? You get everything you want, the connections, the attention, the dating, right? So you don't both have to understand this is what I'm saying. As long as one gets the gig and understands, I call it the owner's manual. I have the owner's manual for both sides. Come and get the manual. It'll change your life because it's what you don't know that's killing you. And all like I said, the miscommunication, the assumption, the pancake stacking, right? The feeling disconnected. I could do this all day long.
I love it. I love it. I mean, and I think that, and maybe I'm making an assumption here, but I kind of feel like women, because we're so sensitive and we create so much drama, like women need that growth mindset and to be really focusing on trusting and right and really focusing on our mindset, right? So let's talk just briefly about NLP because I love NLP. I've not taken a full course. It's actually on my list. I want to dive more into it because I just want to understand it much greater. How does NLP really help release some of that trauma?
Well, in a nutshell, it's so beautifully simple, really, is that people, you've heard people say we only use 10% of our brains, right? This is scientific fact. It's actually 5%. And the reality is if you use 5% of your brain, which means there's only 5% of us that's actually conscious in making choices. The rest of us, 95% of our lives are driven by our subconscious. So back to the story I said in the beginning, as 5 years old, if you're convinced because you have no daddy or a bad daddy that men are dangerous and you don't feel safe in the world, right? And then makes you feel unlovable and unworthy, here goes the rest of your life. So NLP removes the false belief. NLP goes and readjusts and releases the trauma from the subconscious that drives everything because it's not conscious. We think we make choices, but we keep repeating the story that we got attached to. The first imprint on the nervous system, which is, men aren't safe. I'm not lovable. I have to protect myself. And these are decisions we make at 5 years old that we don't necessarily even remember, but that's the driver. So we have to remove those false beliefs, those drivers that will keep you going for the trauma. Like I said, if your daddy never was a source of safety as a woman, or if your mother was disrespectful as a man, you're going to find a person just like that, just like your daddy or like your mom, and then you're going to try to fix them. That's what we do.
Right.
You cannot find a healthy-minded person when you are carrying this baggage. Your radar, your subconscious, will not let you. You will not recognize a healthy person. You will recognize what you know. So get this, like, like some of my clients, let's say a lady, and this again, it could be the same for the man because we're all the same. If you think that men are jerks and they're all douchebags, manipulators, cheaters, right? You know the type, the player type, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. They're out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that's man, because your life experience with your father, whatever, right? And again, it's not even something that you're conscious of. It's just a driver. So I could have a party at my house and invite 99 guys or great guys, masculine, driven, right? Want to take care of women, respectful, good guys across the board. By the way, all my friends of that, right? So I put a woman who thinks men are players and jerks and you can't trust them, right? With 99 good guys and one player. This is crazy. This is amazing. Like, this is how we do it. I put you in a room with this group, and within an hour, I will find that woman talking to the jerk, to the player. She will avoid everybody else. This is how powerful our radar is. Like, our belief system will seek out what we know. The same way that if you buy a white Tesla, right? You all of a sudden see all the white Teslas on the road. You go, oh my God, everybody's got a white Tesla, right? That was not on your conscious before until it was imprinted, and it's now part of your reality. This is the same story. So if you have a belief system, we all do, right? You are not driving your life. It is driving you until NLP cleans it up. And then you can be completely a choice as opposed to that story, right? Repeating, trying to find a guy like your dad that you're going to make him right. You're going to make him right. You're going to make him choose like a lady. You're going to make him be protective. That's not it. Because you're going after the wrong guy. You can't change anybody, right? So men do the same thing with women. If your mother was disrespectful and then, castrated you as a kid, you're going to find women that boss babe, mothering, disrespectful, and you're going to try to change her. And it's a shit show. And we all, without that cleaning up the baggage, you're going to just people get stuck in a loop, right? Always the same story, always the same kind of girls, always the same ending, always the same dude, always the same boy, always taking advantage of me out there. Yep, it's your story. So it's not them, really, it's you. So that needs to be cleaned up. That's NLP. It's fantastically quick, by the way. You consider in a 30-minute, session, you can remove trauma from your past. I mean, I think it's so efficient, right? Like, unlike therapy, where you could spend 3 years on the couch, and at the end, like, I guess I'm a good person. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, done. So changing it.
I've done so much trauma work in the last 9 months with a new coach that I'm working with, and it's been all NLP.
Life-changing.
Unbelievable.
Life-changing.
It's life. It has been life-changing for me, for me personally. And for those that don't know what NLP, it's neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah. And I think it should be called neuro-linguistic reprogramming, because this is really what we're doing. Right. Exactly. So, like, it sounds weird, like neuro-linguistic. So you're going to play with my mind? Well, no, I'm going to clean up your mind. You're going to clean up your nervous system of your trauma, clean up your subconscious of the belief that don't serve you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So we emphasize the beliefs that work, and clean up the ones that are keeping us from the life that we want. It's incredibly powerful and so simple.
I know. I love it.
I did one yesterday. I have a 15-year-old kid that is a client boy, and we did an NLP yesterday about his family of origin and the layers of it. And he cried and he cried and he cried and he cried. It was so beautiful because I saw him change in front of me. Like, everything that he never could let come to the surface, and his pain and his trauma and his broken heart from his father that he lost. Right? And it just, and that release, you know what I mean? It was beautiful. And like I said, I'm going to hear from him today, and he's already different. He was different on the other side of it. It was just magical. And I go,
Oh, that's incredible.
30 minutes,
It's
and
incredible.
it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. His life is going to be a different trajectory, having
Yeah.
released that and the feeling that he's not good enough, that he's not worthy, just because dad died and left
Yeah.
him behind.
Yeah.
Right? The conclusions that we make about the circumstances is the problem.
Of
It's not
course.
the circumstances, not the thing, right? You neglect it. You think there's something wrong with you. You're not good enough, and you'll never be good enough. Like that's the thing that has to go, right? It drives
Yeah.
us. Anyway, I could. Whew, you get it.
I love it. Andre, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we finish up this amazing conversation, and also let
Mm.
people know how they can get a hold of you? And of course, it will all be in the show notes as well.
Yeah, yeah. Also, and I have two gifts for you listeners as
Oh,
well.
nice.
So, the one thing I want to say, and we haven't touched on this really a lot. We didn't really touch on this. Where the culture is I call it a tidal wave in the culture, the belief system that, you know, women want to be strong, independent, and powerful, beautiful, fantastic, great, their own business and all the stuff. And we raise you that way. Nowadays, we used to raise boys that way. What do you want to be? When do you want to be when you grow up? Was a question we asked little boys. Little girls want to get married, have kids, right? Like back in the days, right? So now we raise women strong and powerful. We got to be grow up, and then we raise men to be sweet, sensitive, talkative, feminine, vulnerable, right? So we kind of flip the script again. Everything I teach is nature combined with science and psychology of men and women, and what works in the realm of relationship. It's not my opinion. It's all the work. I work with
Right.
5 masters. I study with 5 masters along with my own research. So I could back all of this up. What I'm seeing in a culture, women come at me with, I'm strong, independent, powerful. I'm still young. I have money. I have my car. I have my how come nobody wants to date me? I'm no trouble. I'm zero trouble. I have everything
Right.
provided for myself, not
Right.
understanding men and what men are attached to. So what I'm saying is my assistant, right? One of my assistant, but my closest personal assistant is 26 years old, 27 years old now. And she wants traditional life. She wants 3 kids in a traditional life, right? She can't say it out loud. She can't say that out loud. The women attack her. Honey, we need to talk. You're better than some guy's slave, and children ruin your life. I'm like she can't say it out loud. So she's very feminine. She's very sensitive, and she feels attacked. And now, so she can't even be herself in the world because the culture says, girl,
Right.
right? Now you're a traitor
Right.
to the sisterhood if you step into traditional life. And that's what I want to say. Like, ladies, gentlemen, like, think for yourself. What is it that you want? You want to be a boss? Beautiful. But if you don't, you have to find a niche, find somebody to support that, find a community, right? Like do not let the tidal wave take you over because in the end you become one of my clients and there's no need for that. Right. If you don't know how this works and you fall into being a boss babe when you really want to be a wife and a mother, and you say, well, I'll do it eventually. The problem is eventually it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, right? So there's a way to do this if you want that. So anyway, so think for yourselves. Forget your school. Forget your mother who made bad choices that men are terrible. They're not, right? Her bad choices doesn't mean to pollute your world forever. Forget your friends. Forget the culture. Forget all of that. Like, what do you want? For same with men. If you want a traditional woman, go find a traditional. They're out there.
Yeah.
They become less and less.
Absolutely.
They're becoming less and less available. But you know, they're not all crazy. They're not all
No.
disrespectful. They're not all not wife material, right? But so again, and that's one. So that's what I want to say. Think for yourselves first. Forget what, and it's hard to do because the cultural tidal wave is everywhere, right? Everywhere.
Yeah.
So
And
anyway,
I just want to say for the ladies out there, you can have both. I've had so many
absolutely
different careers. I ended up staying home for 10 years because it just made sense for us.
right.
And well, yeah, it put my career on the side. I wouldn't take it back for anything to have 10
See,
years with my son. And that's when I started coaching. I got certified to be a life coach while he was in preschool and in school. I did my own little thing at home and I had a little business going. And then I was there to pick him up from the bus stop and take him to his sports.
ta-da.
And when he was a little bit older, I went back to work. And
Yep.
yeah, you can do it both.
You
And
can
it's
do
okay.
both. There's a way to do it both. And
Absolutely.
the way it's taught out there, it's not.
Right.
It's not, it's like by the time the way it's taught out there, you can't get both. I'm just saying,
Right.
I see it every day. Anyway, so get it interesting that you say that because my first gift for you listeners, okay, so I do a lot of podcasting because I'm busy. I have a business doing all this all the time. I'm in Los Angeles. Like it's right. However, the big mission is to really to teach this to the masses and to actually
Yes.
bring hope and shift that cultural tidal wave of what's not working because what we're doing is unnatural and nature eventually will come and bite you in the butt. Again, you don't want to be one of my clients necessarily because you didn't pay attention or you bought too much into what's not natural. I'm just going to say. Anyway, so I do a lot of podcasting because my job is to teach this to the masses. Like it's like kind of I call it Oprah big even, right? Like
Love it.
this thing, my God calling says you need to help change the culture, get back to family, to raise healthy children who can have healthy relationship and raise their own healthy children because when the family system falls apart, culture falls apart. So that's the God calling. So thank you for helping me spread the word because that's why I do podcasting. But I'm like, I want ladies to understand and men that there is hope. It is doable, even in this modern ways. We have to watch what you buy into. All right. So that's why I do podcasting, the big mission. So I noticed that doing podcasts, there seems to be two different types of listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And these are two different gifts for the two different types. The people who show up because they're curious, they're poking around, like they don't understand
Right.
stuff. They want information. They're just into information gathering mode. Beautiful. So if you're in an information gathering mode, this is for the ladies. I want to send you directly to my email. If you go to Andre Coaching, the number one at Gmail, my name, Andre Coaching, COACHING, the number one at Gmail. That's directly my email box. And in the subject matter, you write in workshop. That's all you have to do. I'm going to send you, guess what we just talked about. It's a 25-minute workshop that I recorded about exactly the challenge of ladies in our culture. There's a love lane and there's the money lane. And if you do the love lane, the money lane suffers. If you do the money lane, the love lane suffers. We can't do both, like culture says we should be. But as women, you should be able to do it all. No, it doesn't work that way. So this actually 25-minute workshop will actually talk about how do you get to have it all, like you just talked about. There's a way to do it, but it's not what's out there. What's out there will have you sooner or later, in a pickle because you won't
Yeah.
see it coming. Anyway,
And
so
what's the
that's
second
that.
gift?
So the second gift is for people. Some people will resonate what I said, right? And you go, oh my God, okay, so he gets it. He gets it. Like I'm stuck in the loop. I'm stuck in the loop. Second gift is audiocoaching1 at Gmail and go in the subject box, just write talk now. And for these people that are more brave or action driven, who want to step in, I'll send you my calendar link. You find an hour, 15 minutes that works for you. We're going to have a one-on-one like you and I are having right now. We'll talk about what's not working. Where's the loop? In 15 minutes, we'll get right to childhood when the wheels came off, right? And then you'll know, like my favorite thing to do is women especially come at me with what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I can't get a date. I get ghosted. What's wrong with me? I'm young. And like there's nothing wrong with you. Your energy is too masculine for masculine men to step in. You're forgetting the polarity of nature and every yin yang. That's how it works. So masculine women don't attract masculine men. Interesting, right? So, but typically it comes from trauma in childhood. So in
Right.
15 minutes, we figure out it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's the circumstances of your childhood. So there's nothing wrong with me. Nothing wrong with you.
Right.
But
Exactly.
now that we know what happened, we could fix it, NLP, right? And then we look into the future. What's the future they want to build? Because they're kind of desperate in that space, right? They're stuck. They're freaked out. What's the dream? Kids, family, relationship, marriage, or just long-term companionship, right? Like, what is it? Well, and then we'll talk about different ways you can work with me if you want to work with me. But that call alone, for some people, changed their lives, understanding what happened, and there's nothing wrong with them.
I
So,
love it.
gift number two.
Andre, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
It's I've been talking to so many amazing people, and I've been saying this more lately than I normally do, but I'd love to have you back on to continue this conversation, do a
Absolutely.
part two.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for listening today. And you're amazing, Andre. And thank you for what you're doing.
Sweet. Thank you for helping me spread hope. That's the mission.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and as promised, I'd like to give you more details of what you can expect as a member of the Happiness Solved exclusive community. First, you'll have access to a treasure trove of extra podcast episodes. These episodes dive deeper into the topics we discuss, featuring additional expert interviews only found here. But that's not all. As a member, you'll also get access to a series of mindset training sessions. These recordings are tailored to help you understand the how and why your mindset is the most important asset you have, empowering you to achieve your personal and professional goals. And for those of you looking to find a moment of peace in your busy lives, we've got something special. Exclusive guided meditations. These sessions are crafted to help you relax, refocus, and recharge. Whether you're a meditation guru or just starting out, there's something here for everyone. Becoming a member is more than just accessing extra content. It's about joining a community of like-minded individuals, all on a journey to live life to its fullest and become the best possible version of you. So how can you join? It's simple. Go to happinesssolved.supercast.com and sign up. Don't miss out on this opportunity to deepen your journey with us. Again, that's happinesssolved.supercast.com, and it will also be in the show notes. I am so grateful you're a part of our Happiness Solved family, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your continued support. Again, I am so grateful for you, and I hope that you and your family are healthy and safe, and that your lives are filled with peace, joy, and happiness. Take care, everyone.